Hello, good evening, and welcome to a slightly delayed start to your PS IRL F1 League here for the Invictus Racing League. My name is Gareth, and I'm joined by Sab, and we do apologise for being a little bit late on this one. Unfortunately, a couple of technical issues behind the scenes caused a few problems with the streaming, but we will be back, hopefully live, and hopefully coming straight into your front rooms, your phones, your tablets, your whatever, for the rest of the evening for the fourth round of the season, the Japanese Grand Prix. So if you are enjoying it, make sure you drop into the comments. Let us know it's all working, because I've been frantically trying to press buttons behind to get everything up and running, but it looks as though we are all good. But I am joined, as usual, by Sab. How are you doing, Sab?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Those gremlins have finally gone away, and hopefully we can enjoy a good evening of racing. I've just been keeping an eye over qualifying so far while you was trying to fight those pesky problems over at YouTube, and currently Harry is the fastest on track. He's going out there for his next run. He runs slightly deep at the hairpin with his teammate Hercules. It's a Renault 1 and 2 at the moment, with Beastas, a very impressive Beastas, wouldn't you say, Gareth, after last week? And we saw between himself and Harry one hell of a end to the Russia Grand Prix. But saying that, Beastas has retired from the session. I don't know if he's crashed out on track somewhere, but Beastas has retired from the session, so he's going to be third at best this evening for Beastas, so that's not good for him with still 8 minutes on the clock.
No, and it looks as though, I'm just trying to go on board with Hercules. It's on the exit of Spoon. It's a very odd place for Beastas to have retired from that one. And on the run down towards 130R, of course, one of the most iconic corners in world motorsport. Yeah, Beastas pulling off to the side of the road, retiring with 8 minutes, 2 seconds left to go in this session, leaving the two Renaults at the top of the table, ready to set at least one more, if not two more flying laps. And here comes Hercules to the line. He's about to start a decent lap, you'd imagine, because this is a driver that's done well here in the past in Japan, and he's off on a flyer around this iconic Japanese circuit, of course the home of Honda Motorsports, and the Japanese Grand Prix, usually a favourite for many of those pure races in F1, Sam.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's been a dream of mine to visit the Japanese Grand Prix. I'm just keeping an eye on JCol in the Red Bull, powered by Honda. You mentioned Honda, powered by Honda. He slots his car just behind his teammate Rudy into 6th place, so it's a Red Bull 5th and 6th at the minute, and we have Stinson back as well this evening with us. He's currently in 4th place, not too far behind Beastas in 3rd, but he's got some work to do, I think, Stinson, if he's going to push to get anywhere near Harry. Harry was setting that to 1:25.6, so he's got just about a 2/10 gap over his teammate at the moment.
Absolutely. Harry, of course, who came second here last time we were in Japan. That was Season 10, the first round of the season, where he came second to Gamer, who went on to win that championship with his then teammate Scott Bugner in 3rd place. Gamer winning that one by almost 15 seconds. So Harry, although he's at the top of this one, we'll see if he can hold that what is almost about a 10.5 second advantage over Hercules for the rest of the session. As we said, a little bit of a late start today due to a couple of technical issues, so we do apologise for that. But we are back now. We'll be bringing you the full coverage of the race. No records, we're going straight to the stream. I was pretty headstrong to make sure I got this one up and uploaded for you guys. So if you are enjoying it, make sure you press the like button. It really does help us out. Subscribe if you're new, and of course do all the good stuff you do on the socials. And we've got a pretty much yellow in every single sector as it flashes up. But JCol, come into the line. What can he do? He is in fact going to bail out of that one, so JCol decided he's not going any faster. He was leading the championship up until last week, when a little bit of an issue between himself and Hercules, now currently in 2nd position, put him into a spin and down the order. So JCol losing some crucial ground to Harry in the championship. Sab. Harry going on to winning that one last week in Russia, 36 thousandths of a second, the second closest finish we've ever had in Invictus, only second to the 15 thousandths of a second that we saw back in the Equal Performance F1 League in Season 8, with Emdora and Danestar coming across the line, split by just over 0.01 seconds.
I have to say, Gareth, last week was the first time doing commentary with you that I've literally jumped out of my seat at that. That was phenomenal ending. I genuinely thought Beastas had just jumped Harry right on that corner. It was an absolutely incredible end to that race, and if you haven't seen it, I implore you to go back and at least see those last couple of laps, because I think I don't think, Gareth, that whole final lap really did the whole battle justice, because I think Beastas and Harry throughout the whole race were really giving it each other, and they were fighting fair throughout, swapping places, and Beastas, I can imagine, would have been quite disappointed to have lost out like that, but he was very gracious, wasn't he, in the podium interviews after, about just losing out. So hopefully tonight we see some more fighting like that, but it's famously difficult to overtake round here, isn't it?
It is, so if you want to get yourself to the front, that's the perfect start. And well, Harry BR25 is coming up to the line, having gone purple in Sector 2. What can he do? Coming up to the line, Harry goes even faster, so 25, 3, 4, 1 in that Renault. Absolutely stamping his name on provisional pole position at the moment, 0.5 of a second faster than anyone else on circuit. Just a special mention to Andre there, putting himself up into third position. Great lap from the Haas driver in third, Stinton in fifth, after Beastas still hasn't been beaten, retiring about 5 minutes previous to this. We'll go on board, because I'm sure the fans of the Burbus will want me to see this one. The Dutchman down in 14th position. He's made the jump from the Williams into the Ferrari to make that vacated seat his own. Now coming through 130R, he's improving by just under 0.3 of a second, and that will put him upwards of where Foxy Red 2000 is. So looking at currently, as Nathan puts himself up in 4th position, so it's an all Haas front second row. What can Burr do on his run to the line in 14th position? Manages to come across the line and stays in 14th, 13 thousandths of a second slower than Foxy Red 2000's Alfa Romeo.
That was a nice lap from TG Nathan, but it wasn't in that position for long, because Rudy in the Red Bull has quickly jumped them and he's slotted himself into third place. It looked like a tidy last few corners, so it must have been a decent lap from him. I'm sure he'll be very happy with slotting that car there. Harry's teammate Hercules now comes out for his next run. It'd be interesting to see, can he get any closer at all to Harry, because at the moment it's near on half a second. So it's a very impressive start from Harry this evening. We both know he's been really sweating the practicing for this one this weekend, and I was speaking to Harry briefly today, and he was saying if he can get on pole position, try and get away, then that's one half of the battle of this race. You don't want to be fighting through the pack to try and claim a victory. So at the moment, Harry's sitting pretty, but I'm sure his teammate Hercules will be having something to say about that with the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. So just under 2 minutes left to go. There we go, 2 minute mark in this qualifying session, as we've got everyone making their final runs, their final plays. Oh, that was very close. TL4S coming around the corner and finding an Alfa Romeo just parked on the racing line on the exit of turn 1. It's probably not what he wanted at all. We'll find out if that was that was Foxy. So Foxy perhaps just getting in the eye line of TL4S. Schofield retiring from 10th position. He's not going any further. He's in the pit lane, and Scope deciding he's going to finish off. TTG Nathan's going to finish off as well. He's currently in 5th. So currently we've got Nathan, Beastas and Schofield are deciding to not go any faster. We'll stick with TL4S and see if he's going any quicker. Looks as though he might have backed off from this one. He seems to be going a little bit slowly on exit of the hairpin at turn 11. But who else have we got on circuit? Well, we've got Hercules that's on a fast lap as well, and he's going just over 1/10 of a second faster in that Renault. But Sab, with 5/10 to make up on his teammate, well, he's only under 2/10 now, so Harry has got a comfortable lead unless Hercules can pull an absolute rabbit out of the hat in the final few stages of this lap. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Hercules is showing good pace right now, and like you say, he is going quicker, but he's going to have to do something very, very special here to get within Harry and even beat him. But Harry coming out once again to try and have another go. I don't know if he'll have enough time with 30 seconds on the clock, but Hercules now heading himself down to 130. On this split, what is he going to be? How much quicker is he going to be? He's going to be still just under 2/10. So at the moment, he's going to improve, but it's probably not going to be enough unless he does something absolutely phenomenal through these final few corners. He comes through the final few corners across the line now. Can Hercules improve? and he does, but it's not enough to beat his teammate. It does put him on a 1:25.6. Can anybody behind him beat him?
Oh, I think he probably would have had to straight line that final chicane to match Harry's time, but yeah, Hercules trying to consolidate second position and all Renault front row currently, and we're just on board with Andre, who's in that Haas. He's currently lining up in fourth. This would be a best qualifying position for Andre if he can improve on this fourth position, get himself up into third, perhaps even fight with Hercules for second position. What can Andre do? Running up to the line in the Haas, goes across the line and up into third position. Great lap there from the Haas. Really good to see Andre doing quite nicely here. What can we see from? We've got Stinson and we've got Marcus out on circuit as well. We've equally got Bando in the Racing Point. TL4S, I believe, is on an in-lap, and Foxy Red 2000 will be making his way down through 130R very, very shortly, but we'll stay on board with the Mercedes of Finn Marcus. Made his best qualifying result last time out when he picked up 8th place. He's going to come up to the line. Can he beat it? No, he's going to stay in 8th, so it's 3 8th positions that Marcus has picked up this season in qualifying, along with a 17th back in Mexico, but in Australia, pardon me, but we can see also on circuit there's Stinson splitting the Renaults. So used to saying the Mercedes, but there's the McLaren splitting the two Renaults. So Stinson, great lap, gets himself still 2.5 tenths off of Harry, but crucially, Sab, ahead of his teammate, ahead of MNT Hercules.
Well, I think Stinson might have gone even closer. He slightly messed up the last few corners. Coming up to 130i, he was 6 tenths up on his previous lap. He ended up just about 4 tenths, so he lost a couple of tenths in the last few corners. So I think Stinson might have been a bit closer. Whether he beat Harry, I wouldn't know. But it's an impressive lap, and I imagine that would have frustrated Hercules slightly, because I can imagine they thought they had that front row locked out. But Hercules now finding himself on the second row with a very, very impressive Andre.
Yeah, very much so. But it is a third pole position on the season for Harry. Opened up the season with 2 in a row in Mexico, in Australia. Third position last time out, but this time he makes it 3 on the season for pole position. So great qualifying session for Harry once again. And I was going through a couple of his pole positions he picked up. This is his 4th pole position he's picked up on a Monday evening, back in Abu Dhabi season 10, Mexico and Australia, of course, this season, and now in Japan, which means that he's well, when he started on pole, it's been on a different continent each time. So he's racking up the continents. He's now got to make his way over to Europe and possibly down in South America, and we go to Brazil, that he can pick himself up one there as well. But Harry is your pole position holder for the Japanese Grand Prix, the 4th round of the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation, with a time of 1:25.341 here in Suzuka, ahead of IFR Stinson, the Dutchman, just about managing to get ahead and splitting those two Renaults in third of Hercules. Andre, best qualifying results so far in IRL F1 for Andre in 4th, with Rudy in 5th. TTG Nathan makes it an all-Dutch 3rd row of the grid, with Beastas in 7th, Marcus in 8th, JCol, not a great session of him, down in 9th, with TL4S rounding out the top 10. Outside of the top 10, we've got Scopefielder, Bandobiz, Foxy Red 2000 doing his bit outside of the top 10 once again in 13th, and Burmeister rounding out the grid in 14th position. Foxy and Harry, still the only drivers to have completed every race since the reformation of the F1 League after it became the No Assist League, and they're adding to it. It's now 40 starts between the pair of them that they've had consecutive races here on a Monday evening. And Sab, in that time, Harry has stood on the podium, a lovely recurring number, 66.6666 recurring, goes on forever if you want, percent of the time. But yeah, it's phenomenal really that he's been on the podium. In the last 27 races he's only missed it just a few times. So yeah, a really good result for Harry tonight. Get himself that chance of making it another win, perhaps, maybe, let's not, of course, count our chickens too early. But I'm sure Harry will think this is giving him the best option, getting that clean run down to T1. We know it's difficult to overtake here. We know that especially Sector 1 on lap 1 can be carnage at times. It can be a little bit chaotic. But Harry, clean run, exactly what he wanted.
Oh, yes, exactly, and that is a very impressive stat there for Harry. You can almost bet your house on him, can't you? He's certainly impressed, and so far this season, apart from the odd spin, what we saw in Australia, he's looked almighty. He's looked very impressive. So if he can get a clean getaway from the start of here, through turn 1 into turn 2, through those S's, and try and pull away from Stinson, who will be probably another thorn in Harry's side once again, then Harry will stand himself a very good chance of winning this race. But I'm sure that with a long race ahead, Stinson's not going to make it easy for him. We've seen what Stinson did with Harry in Mexico, and unfortunately for Stinson, penalties in the end cost him, but he's shown plenty of good pace, and hopefully for us tonight watching that we can see that pace once again. But even the likes of Hercules behind, he's no slouch, is he? We've seen him win numerous races here on a Monday night. He's definitely one to not write off, and I can't write off Andre either. If he gets a clean start tonight, who knows what could happen? He could pick up a potential unlikely podium this evening. So we're in for a quite a mouth-watering race this season. Let's hope these guys give it to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So last time we were here, of course, as I said, season 10, round 1 was won by COG Gamer, that season's champion. Harry in second, with Scott Bugner in third. But qualifying, of course, Gamer took that one. Harry in second, so this time he's beaten it by 1, moved up into pole position. Hercules on third. Last time he was here back in season 10 as well. So watch out for that. He I'm sure, will be wanting to go one better this time around. And, well, previous races, back in Season 8, it was Scott Bugner that picked up the win ahead of Scopefielder and Sam Pepito in second and third position. The season before that, Season 7, Round 3, it was the reverse. It was Sam Pepito, then Scopefielder and Speed Queen, former No Assist champion, on a Monday evening. And then back in Season 5, it was the original Gamer the Best, before he was COG Gamer, ahead of Scott Bugner and Mero D2, were the last times I can recall us racing here in Suzuka, the land of the rising sun, right over in the Far East, and a lot of drivers like it. Do you know what? A lot of drivers don't particularly like the circuit, just because the nature of it can be very difficult, very frustrating. Well, what will Harry think of it in around about 45 minutes time? And it's a conversation stab that we'll just have very quickly. There's a finishing information he wanted me to have before the season started. Is Harry the fastest driver that we've had here at IRL that's not yet been a champion? Is he the best ever not to win a championship?
Oh, it's a tough question. There's a lot of big names out there, but with the stats you were saying about Harry and the podiums he's picked up and pushing Gamer in the past few seasons as well, you'd probably argue that he probably is. I'm sure other people who's competed in this league will have their own say, but yeah, I think I'd go with that, to be honest. He just needs to get that title under his belt now, doesn't he? He's pretty much done everything in this league apart from claim a championship, so if he could do that now, he'll have really wrapped it up. I just wanted to quickly say, outside of the top 10, you've got 3 medium runners. That's his Scopefielder, Bando Biz and Burmeister, with Foxy Red in 13th on a set of soft tyres. So watch the likes of Scopefielder try and go long in this race and try and jump ahead of a few of these guys later on.
Absolutely, so watch out for Scope, Bando, Amber, as you say. But yeah, let us know, guys, in the comments as the guys line up on the grid. Who do you think the best is that's never won a championship here in IRL? Great to hear from you guys. And of course, you're getting ready to watch this 4th round of the season of the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation with myself, Gareth Hall, and Alan Sabatino in the commentary box. You can see Burmeister just lagging behind as he makes his way to the box, and that's not like Burr to be holding everyone up. Come on. And there we go, as he filters into his allotted grid slot. In 14th position, we're getting ready to send it down to turn 1 and through the iconic center S's. It's going to be Harry versus Stinson off the line. Who gets the best run? Who gets a good start off that line? It looks as though it's the McLaren that's got a good start, but Hercules behind in third is already going to challenge Harry for second. So Harry has been jumped into second. Can he get taken by his teammate, or will Hercules give him the inside line? It looks as though they're going to go side by side. Just about manages to get away with it, but behind you can see the 2 Hasses getting tagged up behind, and that's allowed Andre just about to hold a position ahead of Nathan. But it's not a great start from Harry. You've got a yellow in sector 1 already. Who's got it? Oh, it looks as though we might have had one of the TL44S that got tagged behind. He's dropped down into 13th position.
Yeah, TL4 for us has picked up wing damage, and I think Bando Biz also. Yeah, Bando Biz has also picked up wing, but I don't know if they tagged each other. But unfortunately for TL4 for us and Bando Biz, they have fallen right down, with Foxy Red also missing a huge chunk of his right side of his front wing. So Fox Red will have to come in. So at the moment, the three at the back missing quite significant parts of their cars, so they're going to have to come in for a pits, and that is a disastrous start for them.
Oh, as you can see, what I believe that was Beastas that was all over the grass on exit of turn 12. But you can see the Alpha Tauri, we'll get there eventually, is now on the back end of the Haas. And what can Beastas do? Of course, came in second in a photo finish in Russia just 7 days ago. This time around he's trying to attack the Haas of Nathan, but on lap 1 unable to do so. Just try and settle into a rhythm now. Of course, lap 1 is now done. We see Scopefielder fighting for position behind as well in the background, but you can see we're going to see a little bit of a timing glitch, but ignore that. I believe we'll just double check with race leader Stinson still leading this one away. He's got the chasing Renaults behind of Harry BR25 and Hercules. Then you've got the two Haas cars of Andre and Nathan, Beastas, Rudy, Marcus and Burmeister making his way up the order as well. So Burr with a good start on those medium tyres.
Yeah, I was going to point out Burr's taking advantage of those guys who've had mishaps throughout that first lap, and I think one of them as well was our previous championship leader, JCol. JCol's just filtered out of the pit lane. He had a front wing change onto the medium tyre, so JCol, I didn't see what happened, but must have had some sort of excursion on that opening lap, and unfortunately for JCol, finds himself down the order now, I believe just ahead of Foxy Red, who's just also come out of the pits.
Yep, JCol, who will be part of that group you can see that are falling down the order, that will probably need a safety car come up to resurrect their chances in this one. JCol, who was actually the first new race winner on a Monday evening since Hercules was back at round 3 of season 9 when he took victory last time when we were in Australia 2 weeks ago. So we don't often see new winners here because it's been dominated in the last few seasons by Harry and by Gamer. So JCol getting himself into that new mix of drivers, the new croppers. Stinson does a fastest lap, starting to drop Harry now. That gap's moved up to 0.7 of a second. It was 0.4 last lap around. So Harry will just see how his lines are through the first sector of this one, because Stinson, well, as you say, maybe didn't hook up that third sector in qualifying, but seemingly got an absolute rocket of a start off the line, and he desperately needs to break Harry out of his DRS range, because as soon as DRS is enabled, that's when Harry will start to close in on him. But it's been a good start from Stinson so far.
It really has, and he took full advantage. I was riding on board with Hercules for the start, and Harry just bogged right down, and I thought for a second Hercules was going to get his teammate, but Harry just had enough, and Stinson took a lot of wouldn't say no to that advantage and jumped straight into the lead. So Stinson showing that pace now, what I believe just slightly lacked towards the end of the qualifying. He's really starting to put on a show, but just behind Andre is, unfortunately for him, just falling away from this fight for first place at the moment. But I think he's just got to focus on his own race now, as it's proven that he probably can't keep with the guys there. Just needs to focus, stay clean. He's dragging his teammate along, Nathan behind, with Beastas not far behind either. So Andre just needs to keep doing his own thing here, and he can still score good points this evening.
Absolutely, you see the two Hasses locking up the brakes. That's going to cause a little bit of a concertina effect as everyone starts to get on the brakes a little bit earlier than they were planning on. But, well, let's see. Do the Hasses decide to swap position? Here we go. Nathan down the inside, and a clean and easy move on his teammate up into 4th position. Everyone else, I'm sure, will be trying to follow him through, as Andre now has to stave off not only the attack of Beastas, but Rudy trying to get involved in this one as well. So it's been a good start from Nathan, getting up past Andre, now in 4th position, but it's almost a 2.5 second gap between himself and the Renaults. So yeah, it's there's Stinson picking up. Oh, there's an early penalty for Stinson, so not ideal at all. This is something that we saw back in Mexico, Sav, where he hampered himself with those penalties. So it's not great to see. Lap 4 already picking up 3 seconds.
No, definitely not, and that's going to be on his mind, and I imagine now thinking I can't pick up any more penalties because this could potentially ruin my race again. So yeah, lap 4 already pick up 3 seconds. That is not good, but he's just got to carry on focusing now and keep his head down, not let it affect him. But surely Harry, his teammate and his team will be telling Harry Stinson does have a time penalty, which will be encouraging for the Renault boys. But yeah, sometimes I just think Stinson might be a bit too quick for his own good at times, and just gets a bit too carried away with a few corners. But at the moment, he's still driving well. Harry just about hanging on, isn't he? Half a second. So Harry not letting that McLaren get away here. He's actually reeling him in now. 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths, but not quite enough into turn 1. And Harry really closing up to the back of that McLaren now in first.
Yeah, this is what Stinson doesn't want. He's now dragging both the Renaults along with him. So these Renaults can just stay on the back of the McLaren as long as they want. Just conserve some battery, conserve some fuel, and just wait for the opportune moment. And surely Stinson won't have any sort of say about when Harry and Hercules make that move. You can see both the almost Hornet-like looking Renaults swarming around the back end of that McLaren. And, well, Stinson, he's got a task on his hands, let's say that, to hold back Harry and Hercules, who are looking very quick in the early stage of this one. Jumped off the line by Stinson, but Stinson, with that early penalty, is going to have to be driving maybe a little bit more cautiously over the next few laps of this one. He doesn't want to pick up another couple of warnings. Clearly, he picked up some warnings early on in this one, and making use of maybe a lot more moves to the outside that have compromised his lines through corners and made him pick up warnings. We'll see, but you can see behind, just having a peek out of slipstream goes Hercules, just having a look to see where the drag was, where the line was, but he's decided not to go for the move, which would be the right one to do, because it looks as though Harry will be lining up Stinson. Battery on, battery off. We know that was what Harry likes to do. He's very good at conserving battery after being caught out by it a couple of times last season with COG Gamer 62. It's one thing that he's worked on in the off season, and not forcing it, which is good to see from Harry. He's just going to play his cards tightly to his chest, not let Stinson double guess where he's going to go. And surely you've got to think these Renault Sab are going to close in and just make that move calmly and, well, not overtake when you're on the edge. Let's say when you're pushing too hard, when there's potential for a incident. We know we've seen incidents into 130R with cars trying to push a little bit too hard as Stinson goes and kicks up some dust on an exit of one of the Degners. But yeah, you expect to see the two Renaults play this pretty maturely, you'd think.
Yeah, you can imagine with Stinson not having a teammate to help back him up here, he's going to end up getting bullied a bit, isn't he, by those Renaults behind. So Stinson under all sorts of pressure. And talking of all sorts of pressure, Nathan has decided to get himself a train. He's not got one, not got two, but he's got 5 cars behind him being dragged along. Nathan in 4th place, pulling along his teammate Beastas, Rudy, Marcus and Scopefield, all within a second of each other. And Andre had a small look into turn 1 at his teammate, but thought better of it. And Nathan at the moment holding on to 4th place, but the pressure's on. Rudy's dived in there. That was really reckless, and it's pushed Andre off the track completely as Rudy got wing damage. I don't know if he has or not, but that was really reckless. A very late lunge there from Rudy, and it's knocked Andre out of contention of this battle, and that is really unfortunate there. That was a bit too ambitious from the Red Bull driver there, and he's got away with that, really, Rudy, because I don't believe he's picked up any wing. Yes, he has got a little bit of wing damage, I believe. So Rudy, yeah, just a bit too frustrated in this train at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about when I was referring to the Renaults. You've got to pick your overtakes here. You can't force it. And unfortunately, Rudy there just taking it a little bit too hot into the Casio Triangle chicane. As you say, clipping not only 1 but 2 cars. So unfortunately, Andre is going to be absolutely littered. He's running very, very nicely, very, very well, but now dropping down to 10th position. So Rudy's still in that battle, currently in 6th position, but as you say, maybe some wing damage for the Red Bull. And the Red Bull, of course, finished on the podium in 3rd place back in Australia Well, this time around, I'm sure after the race he's going to have to explain himself to a couple of his rivals, because they won't be too impressed with what just happened. Now Harry closing in on Stinson. You can see this is the closest he's been for a couple of laps. He's not quite brave enough to go down the inside into the chicane. It's really a difficult overtaking place, the chicane here. You've got to be very committed to make sure that you're going to do it. But on exit, well, here comes Harry once again. Maybe a little bit more draggy down this straight than Stinson. Stinson managing to hold on to the lead down the straight, but Harry closing in through the tight and twistier sections of Sector 1 and Sector 2, so possibly running a little bit more downforce than the McLaren up ahead. But you've still got to think, by the looks of it, that Harry's just got the pace on Stinson. Stinson's trying to hold him back at arm's length. Hercules is really in a very nice position here, Sab, because he's just sitting behind the pair of them, just letting them do their thing, and he can wait and pick up the pieces if anything happens.
Yeah, most definitely. And what do you think, Gareth? Do you think one of these might try the undercut on Stinson? Maybe Hercules tries undercut on his teammates as well. There's definitely going to be strategy involved here, and I think whatever the outcome, I think Stinson's going to lose out here with 2 versus 1, Renault versus McLaren. So do you reckon one of these in the next few laps will be trying the undercut?
I'd expect the two Renaults to be talking to each other right now and discussing that exact thing. So, yeah, I mean, obviously the race or the driver ahead on circuit will have the chance of making that call first. So will Harry decide to come in and box early, or will he let his teammate get that option of an undercut and coming in maybe a few laps or a lap or two earlier, what they would do? So be interesting to see who makes that jump, who blinks first when it comes to making an early stop. We're about to see if anyone dives in, and there we go, right on cue. Harry into the box. He releases Hercules to chase after Stinson now, but Harry is going for the undercut on Stinson. So, well, we'll find out, I'm sure, in about a lap's time if that will work out for Harry. Now, big question for Harry is, where does he come back out? It's on a set of fresh mediums, but will he be out in clean air? It looks as though he's going to have a lovely, a whole glob of clean, fresh air in front of him to drive out. He doesn't have to worry about anyone around him on circuit. So, well, luckily enough for him, he can just get on with it, get those tyres up to temperature and put a good, decent outlap on these fresh medium rubber, and hope that Hercules can just put a little bit of pressure on Stinson and possibly even force him into making a mistake late on in this lap.
Yeah, that's worked out nicely for Harry, hasn't it? Into the fresh air, and another driver who's just worked his way into fresh air. I just watched the move happen is Bistas on TTG Nathan. Bistas down the start-finish straight. Comfortable move. He got ahead of Nathan before the first turn, and Bistas slots himself into what is 3rd place at the moment. So that Bistas, he's not had much luck, has he, this season? But he got some luck when that incident with Rudy happened, and he took advantage of that situation. And right now he's got ahead of the second Haas of Nathan. So Bistas will be pretty pleased with how this is going for himself so far.
Yeah, absolutely so. Of course, Bistas, who finished on the podium last time out in Russia, will be looking at doing so again, but he's got to push on a little bit. He's been caught up in his train for maybe a little bit longer than what he was hoping for. Now, do we see everyone else into the box? Now, we see Hercules, but we don't see Stinson. Stinson's staying out for another lap, so he's going for another lap on top of Harry, of course, so he's going to give him much fresher tyres come the end of this race. But of course, Harry, if he can be putting in some hot laps now that he's out on his well, this is going to be his first flying lap since coming in, so will Harry put a fastest lap in? We will find out, because you can see the gap that he's put between himself and his teammate. It was around about half a second when they came in, and on exit it's 2.6 seconds.
Wow.
So with Stinson staying out, you've got to think that this is working perfectly into the hands of Harry.
Oh, most definitely, and surely Stinson now has to pit this lap. I was amazed he didn't pit with Hercules there, but Stinson, if he doesn't pit now, he's just going to find himself probably even behind Hercules at this rate, based on that turnaround. But Harry, with a 5.5 second gap to Burmeister, can just push as hard as he can, and you'd surely imagine with Stinson coming down towards 130R, surely Harry's going to get the jump on him here with this speed Harry's got right now, because he's absolutely flying at the moment. He's taking chunks of time out of Burmeister ahead of him, which you shouldn't be surprised about. So I'm just keeping an eye on Stinson now, coming through the final few corners, just making sure he doesn't mess up, and he's carried on. Wow. Stinson has carried on for another lap, so what can Stinson be thinking here? This is very surprising to me.
It is, and you can see on the onboard a little bit of graining down the centre of the tyre as well, so those tyres are not working particularly well. Oh, that's unfortunate for Marcus. He picks up 5 seconds speeding into the pit lane. Of course, it's a difficult pit entry here. You take it, it's off camber, it's a little bit to the right, and here you go, fastest lap for 1:29.1 for Harry. So Harry putting the pressure on and starting to get himself, in fact, we'll check in, he's within 18 seconds and closing at 0.2 of a second per corner at the moment. So Stinson's lead of this one is is shrinking by the second, really. So he's got to get a move on. This is a bold strategic decision for him, and there's a yellow in sector 1. Now what has happened, if this brings out a safety car, no, it looks as though we've gone green. I was going to say it looks as though Marcus may have lost it on exit of turn 1 and turn 2. He was going slow, so unfortunately for Marcus on exit it looks as though he may have had an issue. But yeah, a safety car for Stinson now would be absolutely perfect. If not, you've got to think Harry now within 17.5 seconds of him, that this is working very, very nicely for the Renault driver.
Oh, most definitely, and you'd imagine Hercules is starting to really put the hammer down as well, and this is going to be tight, I think, for Stinson to even come out ahead of Hercules here. So I'm absolutely amazed. Is Stinson going to come in now? Stinson is finally coming in now. So Stinson into the box. Wants to get slowed down enough. Just about slowed down enough there. Big lock up the front right into the box now. Where's he going to slot out? I reckon Hercules might have the run on him here. I think Stinson's left it way too long.
Yep, we'll go on board and we'll see the McLaren that will be feeling like he's going at a snail's pace has just watched Harry, as we say, flash past, and there goes Harry down the main straight. Will Hercules get him? It's going to be close on exit, but there you go. Hercules takes second position from Stinson, so that longer window at the start has allowed Hercules at a gap of around about just under 2 seconds. So, Stinson, he's going to have to make these tyres work for him in the late stages of this one. Of course, the tyres will be a little bit more favourable, but if Harry can just hold on to the pace that he's showing at the moment, Stinson may have made a little bit of a faux pas with deciding to stay out just those 2 laps extra compared to Stinson and 3 laps to Harry.
Yeah, that's really going to hurt him now, but it's going to be fascinating to see what Stinson can do being the attacker, as we see B-Stas picking up 3 second time. And talking to B-Stas, he's gone slightly different compared to the guys ahead of him. He's gone on a set of hard tyres, so be interested to see what he can do on those hard tyres with Rudy on a set of medium tyres behind him. Rudy closing in B-Stas rating out, so he's on the medium tyre, like I say, and you'd imagine this is probably going to be easy pickings for the Red Bull driver, but interesting strategy for the AlphaTauri driver.
Yeah, it is indeed, and we'll see if that pays dividends in, we're lap 12 for 27, so plenty more racing here to go. The IRL PlayStation F1 League, part of Invictus Racing League. Plenty more racing throughout the week. We can, of course, race tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening. It's the IRL F2 League on the PlayStation and the Xbox F1 League. So all 3 gaming platforms, because on Wednesday we've got the PlayStation F3 and F4 Leagues, the PC F1 and F2 leagues, and then on Thursday it's Realistic Performance League night on the Xbox and on the PlayStation. Before we head to the Temple of Speed of Monza next week for the 5th round on this season, the Italian Grand Prix. Last time we were there, Harry came second to Gamer back in season 10. Can he go one better like he's trying to this time here in Japan and get on the top step? We will find out. At the moment he's got to try and get past Burmeister, and Burr's not going to make that easy for him, is he? Oh, actually he does. That's nicely done of Burr as he pulls to the outside and lets Harry, the net race leader, through. So Burmeister, deciding he's not going to fight Harry on that one, realised that he was going to get involved in a scrap that he didn't need to be in, and he lets Harry through and up and can start stretching his legs up at the front of this one.
I'm just keeping an eye on this battle for 6th place between B-Stas and Rudy still. Rudy really putting the pressure on. It'd be interesting to see what Rudy does now after his bumper car version of overtaking earlier. Can Rudy, on these quicker tyres, make a cleaner move on Bistas, because it's clear to me at the moment Rudy does have the pace of a Bistas as he's gaining on Bistas into 130R. He'd be very brave to try a move around the outside of there, but Rudy into the corner where he had that little excursion earlier, nice and tidy this time, but he's much closer to the AlphaTauri driver now, and you imagine down this start-finish straight it should be easy pickings for him. Here comes the Red Bull driver now. Can he slot past the AlphaTauri Bistas? Yes, he can, quite comfortably on those medium tyres. Rudy up into 5th place.
Cool, and cuts across the nose of the AlphaTauri like something else. And Rudy trying to put a full stop on that overtake there, I believe it was, but up into 5th position, and however, with no battery left, so he's going to possibly be swallowed up by not only Bistas next time around, but also also Nathan, who's closing in 7th position. So Rudy needs to get a shift on if he wants to break out of this, because using all his battery down that main straight to get the move done on Bistas, he obviously realised that on this medium rubber he needed to be ahead of Bistas, who of course is on the slower hard tyres. But this is the quickest or the closest battle we've got on the circuit. I do apologise, my commentary's been all over the place this evening, but you are watching the PlayStation F1 League here Monday night with myself, Gareth, and Alan Sabatino in the commentary box as usual, and we'll be bringing you the rest of the action from tonight's 4th round of the season here on the PlayStation. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter at GT2_driver. You can find Sab at Alan Sabatino, and you can find all about the league by going to InvictusRacingLeague.com, InvictusRL on Twitter, and Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram. Get yourself on the grid, plenty more spaces left to go. As you can see, we're having a bit of a barren evening here in F1. We do tend to see more often, but a couple more drivers. But if you'd like to be involved, please go and get involved by going to the website, finding out more, and getting in touch with our head of recruitment, who is or happens to be the man currently 2nd on track, but leading this race, Harry BR 25. Behind, you can still see this battle between Rudy, Bistas, and Nathan is going on. In fact, Nathan's starting to close in on Bistas. So Nathan on this fresh medium should have the advantage up against Bistas, but Bistas playing that long game we were talking about on that hard rubber.
He is, and what's probably frustrating Nathan is the fact that Bistas is hanging on to the back of Rudy and managing to pick up that DRS down the start finish straight, so it's not going to be at the moment an easy pass for Nathan. So Nathan can imagine be quite frustrated, stuck behind the AlphaTauri, knows he's probably faster than him, but Bistas is doing a decent job on those hard tyres to stick with Rudy on the medium tyres. So a nice little battle there. Unfortunately, Nathan's teammate Andre is working his way back slowly after what happened, sat in 8th place, but he's about 4 seconds off this battle.
Yeah, so a lot of work to do, and I'm sure he's not going to be best pleased come the checkered flag. Now here comes Nathan on Bistas. He's sitting right in the rear diffuser of the AlphaTauri. He's going to go side by side. Will we see a move at 130R? We do. They go swinging by, and just before the apex, you see the Haas up into 6th position, locking up for the Casio Triangle chicane. Bando picking up a penalty. He's down in 14th position. It's really not been the start to the season that Bando wanted after a pretty decent 4th place start in the open in qualifying to open the season back in Mexico. It's not really gone in his favour, and well, a nightmare in realistic performance last week as well has confounded Bando to maybe a little bit of a lack of confidence here in the F1 League. He's down in 14th place on hard tyres as well, so it's not going to get much better for the Racing Point driver. Up at the front, Harry still leading this one by 2.4 seconds to his teammate Hercules, who's now got a 1.3 second advantage over Stinson with that 3-second time penalty. So, of course, Hercules looking as though he wants to make it, and, well, the first Renault 1-2 that we've seen here. So Hercules wants to make that return to the podium that we saw him make in Russia last time out, where he picked up 3rd place. Will he be able to make it a 2nd place this time around? Of course, he's a multi-time winner back on a Monday evening when he was part of that Season 9 dogfight between himself and Jumper Linen, where he took 6 race wins on the season. So we know that Hercules is no stranger to the top step, there we go. But, well, at the moment he's having to play second fiddle to Harry, so that must hurt if you're Hercules.
I can imagine. And what's probably going to hurt in the short term is Stinson is closing in on Hercules. I'm right on board with it as we see Schofield. The 16 laps on medium tyres has finally called it quits on them and has come into the box for a brand new set of soft tyres. So expect Schofield to probably pick up a fastest lap towards the end of this race. But yes, Stinson, it's just dropped down a little bit. It was about 1.1, 1.2 and it's just crept up to 1.3 there, but I was keeping an eye on Stinson. He could firmly see that Renault ahead, but he's got a lot of work to do, hasn't he, Stinson? Like you say, that 3-second time penalty still hanging over him. So if he's gonna get Hercules, the move done on Hercules, he's then also got to pull out a 3-second time penalty or hope that Hercules picks up a similar incident. So still a lot of work for Stinson to do with just 10 laps left.
Yeah, just pay some attention to 8th place Schofielder. He's just pitted out of leading on circuit, so it's released Harry, but onto a set of fresh, soft tyres to go to the end. So he's going to have the advantage over everyone else on circuit, him and Burmeister. Burmeister's done 2 laps on those softs already, and he's starting to close in on Foxy. So, we know what happens when we see Foxy Red 2000 and Burmeister on circuit. We can have flashbacks to Brazil just a few seasons ago, Sab. But we'll keep an eye on that because the Ferrari's charging down on the Alfa Romeo. But up ahead, Schofielder. Interesting strategy call from the Swede. 8th place. You've got to think he's going to be mega fast in this one. Can he overhaul Andre? Perhaps he can get up to this 5th place. Because beyond that, you've got to think that it might be out of reach. But Schofielder in for some decent points tonight.
You'd imagine so, and Schofield, he knows how to score good points, he knows how to get good results. We've seen him win multiple championships and multiple races with Schofield on those brand new set of soft tyres, and you've got the likes of Beastas ahead who's got a time penalty. You'd imagine Schofield has got a real opportunity to potentially, like you say, get into the top 5 here, so it'd be fascinating to see how Schofield does. The first target for him is Andre in 7th place, the Haas driver. So Schofield taking time after time out of Andre within each corner. So Schofield are already looking very fast here, and I wouldn't be surprised at the end of this lap it flashes up at the bottom of your screen saying Schofield the fastest lap. As
Burmeister's fighting for Foxy for the final point, 10th place at the moment. Foxy, whose evening hasn't gone particularly well, and he seems to be one of those drivers that's either completely on it or completely off it, and this evening not going very well for the Alfa Romeo driver, and being shown up by his idol, Schofielder. He often says how much he enjoys racing with Scope, but this time around he's having to fend off Burmeister for 10th place, and Burr looking very, very quick indeed behind, of course, on the benefit of those soft rubber up against Foxy's mediums, which have done 15 laps. So he's going to be coming in, I'm sure, for a new set of tyres, probably in the next lap or so. But Burr's going to want to get past him and possibly try and push on these tyres to go to the end. We'll see. But Burr in the tow of the Alfa Romeo. Up ahead, we've still got that battle going on between Rudy and Beastas. We'll go in and keep tabs on that one. Schofield are now only 7/10 of a second behind Andre, so he's absolutely destroyed that gap that was there. And there you go, a 1:28.187. Will we see Foxy into the box? There we go. So that releases Burmeister up into 10th position on circuit. So Burr now up into the points. Foxy is now going to be going surely to try and steal the fastest lap off of his teammate Schofielder, but Scope now in 8th position within half a second of Andre.
I've just flicked on board with Beastas then, and through the S's, Rudy was all out of shape. He did very well to hold that. It might not have seemed so dramatic from his point of view, but right on board with Beastas, that Red Bull rear was wiggling all over the place. I thought Beastas was going to get given a free place there, but Rudy held on nicely, and I don't know if it's the turbulence coming off the back of that Haas. Rudy is tucked under behind, but at the moment Beastas, I think he's been very impressive once again this evening. He's on that alternate strategy, but he's keeping with these medium tyres quite comfortably, and to be honest, you'd imagine if he was on those medium tyres, he's probably the quicker out of these two ahead. So Beastas doing a very good job on these hard tyres at the moment, hanging on to the back.
Yep, limited battery usage of Beastas though as he chases down Rudy and Nathan. Nathan leading this trio of cars into the Casio Triangle at the end of the lap as they go past the Ferris wheel on the left-hand side of the circuit to start lap 20. Harry BR25 leading this one from his teammate by 2.3 seconds. Stinson in third position. Stinson, who might bemoan that strategic decision to stay out a bit later, has lost himself not only track position but also the ability to be in DRS, as Scopefielder does get past Andre, now up into 7th position. So now on next on target for Scope is this trio of cars up ahead. So you've got to think, Sab, with, well, plenty more racing left to go, 8 laps left in this one. Scopefielder, if he can take the gap that he's been taking out of Andre on those hard tyres, he's got to be doing it in B-Stas. He should be on the back of these three in, what, 2-3 laps time?
I probably think it's a lap at this rate. He's already taken 0.4 of a second out of B-Stas on this lap alone. It's absolutely flying, Scopefielder, and he, right on board him round, he can see the AlphaTauri just ahead, tucked up behind Rudy. So Scopefielder absolutely flying now. 3 seconds the gap, and remember B-Stas has 3 seconds worth of time penalty. So Scopefielder reeling in this battle quite quickly, and as you say, he's going to be on this battle in no time. Scopefielder looking calm and collected. He got the move nicely done on Andre as well. Andre doing his best to hang on to the back of that Alfa Romeo, and I think what Andre will want to try and do is try and stay with the Alfa Romeo and try and see if it can drag him along to this battle as well, and we could end up seeing not only a 4-way fight for 5th, but even maybe a 5-way fight.
Yeah, this is where possibly non-teammates, you need to help each other by dragging each other along. Now here comes B-Stas, of course. Is he having a look to the inside of Rudy? Just has a peek, but decides against it. Rudy's going to go very deep, and that's going to compromise his exit on turn 2 through to the S's. But it looks as though B-Stas is just going to sit where he is for now. He realises that he can still be involved in this battle. He can still be involved in this fight. There's plenty more racing left to go this evening. The 4th round of the season of the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation. Myself, Gareth Hall, and Alan Sabatino in the commentary box for this one. If you're enjoying it, make sure you help us out by clicking the like button down below and subscribing if you're new or not subscribed already. It really, really does help us out. Of course, you can go to invictusracingleague.com to find out more about the league. Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram for all about the league, all things whether it comes to results, stats, Hall of Fames, everything. Where you can find it all on our socials by doing there and doing the good stuff that you do. But thank you everyone. Hopefully you're all enjoying yourself, and if you are, let us know who's going to challenge this one. Will Hercules be able to reel in Harry? You can see he's taken about half a second out of him over the last few laps. Will Hercules be able to look after his tyres enough to challenge Harry, or has Harry got this one in the bag? Will he take that top step here in Japan that he's been looking for the last few seasons?
It looks like as well that the fight from behind from Stinson, what I spoke about briefly, got down to just over a second, seems to have stalled slightly, and Stinson now is stuck in a bit of a rut of around 1.6, 1.7 seconds. So Stinson not really able to claw in Hercules, and this strategy of his, I think, is probably in the end cost him not only first place but even second place as well. So he'll probably be quite frustrated with himself that he went with this strategy, but he's going to probably, unless he has a big incident, he's going to still pick up a podium, but you'd imagine it's going to feel like an opportunity missed for him this evening.
Yeah, you've got to think so, but well, it's still a podium, which is still better than what he picked up last week when unfortunately he couldn't make it. So he's still going to pick up some decent points, but maybe not enough to stop Harry extending this lead in the championship that he took last time around. So yeah, we'll go and check in with Scope, because Scope, Sab, maybe not taking the chunk of time out of B-Stas that we were expecting him to. He's only got that gap down to 2.3 seconds now. He's done 4 laps on the SOS, but you do still expect the Swede to be pulling up to the back end of the AlphaTauri a little bit quicker than he is. He's running out of laps. He's had an extra 2 where he's just kind of sat around this limit where he's still dragging Andre with him. Andre on 12-lap-old hard tyres. So Scopefielder needs to get a move on, because otherwise he's not getting himself involved in this battle. He just needs to get within DRS. So 1.5 seconds of a second that he's got to put into the guys in front. But at the moment it's sitting around that 2.3 second margin. Yeah,
it's been a bit frustrating, I think, for Scopefielder the last few laps. He's not really been able to. I don't know if he's took a lot of the life of these tyres out already with that fastest lap to get past a few of the cars early on. But as you say, he's just stuck in 2.3 seconds right now. I've just got on board with him, and you can see that battle ahead. It's just about there. It's just not quite within reach yet for him. He has got it now down to 2 seconds, so maybe he can get involved, but could it be another last lap drama here, but not for the win this time, but maybe for 5th place?
No, and I'd also keep an eye on 8th place Andre, who's staying well within the tracks of Scopefield, 0.5 of a second behind the Alfa Romeo, and he'll be seeing up the road Rudy, who's the driver that gave him a little bit of a punt off to the side of the circuit at the Casio Triangle in the early stage of this one, that possibly cost Rudy the chance of fighting for a decent, well, he should really be in Nathan's position at the moment. So Andre still trying to get himself involved in this fight. He's now 1.5 seconds. He's now 2.5 seconds behind Beastas, and closing in on Scope, because now only 0.3 of a second between him and the house behind. So he's still trying to put the pressure on Scope. So Scope maybe not having it all his own way. He probably wants Andre to start working with him to start closing in. But up at the front, this three still fighting between themselves. Rudy, Nathan and Beastas. Here comes Rudy, DRS open. Will he attack into turn 1? It looks as though the gap's going to just about close as he gets to the apex of turn 1 and turn 2. He's going to have to follow each other through the S's once again, as nothing has really changed between these three. It's been a bit of a chess game. We've just seen them all following each other's wheel tracks around, which, Sab, I'm sure as a fellow league racer, it's incredibly irritating when you feel like you can probably do something, you just can't find that right place to overtake.
Yeah, most definitely, and you can end up making silly mistakes, can't you, if you're not careful and catch yourself out. But yeah, the frustration I think here right now is for Beastas, because Beastas sitting on that time penalty. Oh, as we see, Burmeister picks up 3 seconds worth of time. Yeah, the frustration for Beastas is he's got that time penalty, whereas Schofield and Andre behind don't have time penalties and are within that 3 seconds. So at the current moment, I think Beastas just about, I think he got caught out by Rudy running a little slow there and almost collected the back of that Red Bull, and just about got away with that. But yeah, as I was saying, Beastas will be getting frustrated, I think, because he wants to get past these but can't, and he's stuck in that rut now, and the guys behind are slowly starting to catch him up. So at this current moment, if it was to finish, Beastas would lose out on another 2 places. So this is a little bit frustrating for him right now. Yeah, and here comes Schofield. You can see he's probably scooting in the seat of his cockpit, just trying to get that car to go a little bit faster each lap, because he's now just over the DRS limit, and he knows as soon as he gets into DRS he's going to be able to attack these guys. Of course, he's kind of used up the best tyre life of those soft tyres, but up ahead, Beastas now starting to use the fact that he's on the hard rubber, which will be a little bit more durable than the mediums. You can see he's starting to cruise up to Rudy's, being a lot more threatening than what we've seen in the preceding 12 laps or so since the pit stop window. Up in leading this one, we've still got Harry. It's like 25-27. He's leading by now 1.8 seconds. Sorry. As here comes Beastas to the inside. Is there going to be contact? It looks as though it's a pretty clean run between the pair of them. Who's going to give up position? Because Beastas is going to go around the outside. He's going to give him the inside for Spoon. Can he hold around it? It's very bumpy around there, but he's going to have to relinquish the position. He thought about going for it, but it's incredibly bumpily offline as you get to that part of the circuit. But you can see he's going to have to go for it again. But yeah, you can see the tyres now starting to come back into Beastas' favour, but no battery left, only 2% battery for the AlphaTauri. This is going to be frustrating, because all it's going to do is allow Nathan to disappear off out of DRS. He's within, he's half a second up in front of these two, but Beastas now just needs to conserve a little bit of battery, because at the moment Rudy will be doing the exact same thing just to defend. But then here they come down the main straight. But who have they brought with them? Well, Scopefielder and Andre have now joined the party. Yeah, I'm riding on board with Scopefielder. It's a great view of Beastas, Rudy and TG Nathan. We've got a couple of laps here. This is going to be mouth-watering end to this race. These guys have been absolutely superb, and hats off to Nathan. He's done absolutely brilliant, and Rudy under all sorts of pressure from Beastas. Beastas really starting to pile the pressure on the Red Bull driver. But Scopefielder, can he get involved? Can he do anything here? Can he find himself maybe sneaking 6th, maybe even sneaking 5th or even 4th, because he can see Nathan not far away. But Andre, I think hats off to Andre. He's been absolutely superb this evening. He not let that instant phase him. He's got his head down and he's got back into this race. And right now he's fighting for positions for good points. So I'd really say Andre's had a superb evening this evening.
Yeah, absolutely so. I completely agree with you there. As even with the spin, he's managed to get himself back involved in this battle. As JCol, unfortunately, dropping from the session, he's down in 12th position. It's been an evening to forget if you're JCol. He was leading the championship after round 2, but didn't pick up the points he wanted back in Russia. And this evening, well, he's not on for any at all, and he would have to watch his teammate, who's fighting over currently 4th position, as he currently sits in 5th, but he's got a slew of cars behind him. We've now got a 5-car train, and Nathan's going to watch behind him, seen Scopefielder and Andre, and thought, oh, not another 2. I'm already fighting off 2 of them. But now down the main straight, here they come, but it's all going to be negated. Everyone with DRS, no one's got an advantage really, so they're going to sit there on lap 27 of 27. So what we'll do is we'll go on board with your leader, Harry Bell 25. He's had a very quiet evening, apart from sitting behind Stinson for the early stages of this one after being jumped off the line. But after the pit stops, well, it's been plain sailing for your championship leader, the man that we were discussing earlier. Is he the best ever never to win a championship? It's a polarising question. I'm sure we'll hear many people telling us otherwise and letting us know who is the faster driver. But Harry, you've got to give it to him. He's put a lot of work in over the winter period, got a lot quicker, and he's starting to pull these results out from where we may have not seen him pick out before. And well, he hasn't got Gamer to challenge, but he has got Hercules, who of course is a runner-up himself in the IRL F1 League, and Stinson, who's no slouch himself. But Harry, coming around 130R for the final time this evening, he's looking at picking up a 3rd win on the season already, which would be an absolutely mega way to start the season. So here you go, Harry Bell 25 crosses the line and is your winner here in Japan for the 4th round. It makes it a Renault 1-2. Fantastic result for the Renault team. Stinson will pick up the 3rd position. Nathan is going to come home surely in 4th position with this whole gaggle of cars behind him. And Bisas is going to bemoan that penalty because he's going to drop down behind Scopefielder and Andre. But here you go, Nathan 4th, Rudy 5th. Bisas will drop down behind Scope and Andre into 8th position. Marcus will pick up more points, some more solid points there for the Mercedes. And Burmeister, if he can hold on to it, will be picking up his first points on the season, and the first points for a long time for Burmeister. So congratulations, Spur. He comes across the line, his debut for the Ferrari team, and you can see he's pretty happy with himself. We don't often see Burr up in the top 10. I'm sure the fans on the Burr bus will be absolutely delighted with that. TL44S, it looks as though in fact TL has got a front right puncture as he crosses the line, so those hard tyres gave up after 25 laps. Of course, early pit stop for TL44S after that front wing damage. He got to the end and he's just missed out, and you can see that tyre delaminating as it flaps around on circuit. But Harry picking up the win this evening, Sab, and well, pretty calm race. Scopefielder gets driver of the day, but that could have gone to anyone there. Andre, Scopefielder, Harry, could have been any of them.
It really could have been. Nathan was absolutely superb to pick up 4th place there, but huge congratulations to Harry this evening. Drove superbly, didn't get the best getaway from the start, didn't phase him though, did it? And in the end, got the strategy right. His teammate got the strategy right. They got ahead of that McLaren and they never looked back. It's a great result for Harry, and it's a great result for Renault this evening. Harry and Renault looking very strong after this race.
Yep, yeah, absolutely so. They are definitely looking as though the team to beat in this one. And will Harry pick up that elusive championship that he's wanted ever since he joined IRL? The Constructors' Championship. No, I mean the Drivers' Championship. But no, it's I'm sure in 40 minutes and 44 seconds he picks up the race win from pole position. However, he was beaten off the line, so it wasn't all his own way. Hercules jumps up ahead of Stinson into 2nd, with TTG Nathan and Rudy making it a Dutch 3rd, 4th and 5th, with Scopefielder in 6th, Andre in 7th, and Beastas 8th, Finn Marcus 9th, Burmeister picking up his first points of the season in 10th place, with TL44S coming across the line with that front right puncher in 11th. Foxy Red 2000 well down the order, 49 seconds off of Harry today. It's not the standards we're expecting from the Alfa Romeo. Bando, not a great evening from a Barbadian as well in 13th, and JCol finishes a lap down and not in this one. Unfortunately for JCol, not the evening he was hoping for. His championship fight may have derailed slightly over the last 2 races, but yeah, what a win for Harry. Exactly what he needed at this stage of the season. 3 wins from 4, Sab. You've got to think this really is his to lose.
So far, yes, he's been absolutely superb, and it just shows you what sort of race he had. We knew how comfortable he was. We ended up watching the battles further behind, and there were some great battles further behind. I implored the likes of Harry and Hercules and even Stinson to check out that later on this evening. We do have, Gareth, our top two with us. We're just waiting on Stinson, so I don't know if you want to get underway now, and hopefully Stinson will join us later.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll start with our race winner, Harry BR25. Hopefully you've all got your voices to be allowed to be shared, so everyone can hear you. I'm sure they all want to hear what you've got to say, Harry, because, well, brilliant lap in qualifying. However, jumped off the line. Not one of your best starts, but you used that undercut. It worked to your advantage. Were you surprised that Stinson went longer and gave you such an advantage when you came out?
Yeah, I was at first, until the last two laps when I was looking at my tyre percentages and I was expecting to go bang at any corner. So yeah, I mean, it could have on another day it might have very nearly worked out for him, but yeah, obviously the undercut I wasn't expecting it to be as big as it was, because obviously when I came out and Hercules picked the lap later, a 2-second gap, which obviously was then just about managing, and obviously Stinson had an early time penalty, so yeah, it worked out really, really well in the end. But yeah, it was very touch and go towards the end. So.
And Renault won too, so exactly what you wanted. And I'm sure we'll speak to Hercules and we'll speak to Dan in a second. He will say that he doesn't want to be playing second fiddle to you this season. We know that he's a very quick driver. 6 wins he picked up in the season that he finished runner-up. So it's going to be good for you having a teammate that will push you all the way this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been, this is only his second race back in Invictus. He's still getting to grips with it, and you've seen today, like, our pace was, I think, exactly the same. I think from qualifying and in the race, maybe in the practice before, if I got my lap together, I'd be maybe a second quicker in qualifying. But in the race, I think softs or mediums was always exactly the same. And to be fair to him, towards the end, he was definitely a lot quicker when I was sort of managing my tyres. He had a real go at me, and yeah, I think for the rest of the season, we're in a good position now for the constructors, and yeah, he's going to push me all the way. He's going to push me to do better. I think it's only going to be a good thing. And yeah, neither of us have won a championship here, so it'd be nice if we can sort of help each other along to maybe, but long way to go yet.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll think it's an upgrade on your previous teammate. But
I'll let you say that.
But yeah, one final question. Obviously, we move on to Italy next week. Now, I've spoken to you previously before this. You said you think one of the most difficult circuits on the not only on the calendar but on the game. So tell us a little bit more about the Italian Grand Prix, how you find it, and what you're thinking for next week.
Yeah, I think that's definitely my opinion. I mean, Italy's never been a great track for me, to be honest. But on this game, I feel a little bit more competitive. I think it's just because of the low downforce setups. It's just, you think it's quite easy. You think, it's just a couple of chicanes, really string them together right, and a scar in Parabolica, then you'd be fine. But like I said, when you're running such low downforce and you're going at such high speeds, I personally find it one of the hardest tracks. I think definitely for me. But not to say I don't enjoy it, because I do, and I think it'd be a good race, even if might be one to expect the DRS train, but no, I look forward to it.
Well, that's 3 wins from 4 to open the season for you, and a very, very healthy championship lead. So I'm sure you'll be waiting for the standings to be updated, so you can look at that one. I'm sure you'll be smiling like a Cheshire cat, watching everyone else below you just fight their way out of the crab bucket. But yeah, congratulations for the win tonight. On to Hercules, welcome back to the podium once again after picking up 3rd back in Russia. 2nd place, you've got to be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, I'm happy. So 3rd, 2nd, maybe 1st in the next race, I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty happy also to not have any... Well, I'm pretty sure I don't have to go to the stewards after this race, so that's another goal I achieved. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty boring until the end, and I think I only catch up because I was simply risking more. But after Stinson got his penalty, and I don't know why he went that long, he will maybe tell us about it. There was a huge gap, and the race was boring, but nevertheless it was about not to make mistakes.
Yeah, and exactly like you say, it was maybe a not great race for you to sit there and just kind of have to hold position. But I mean, earlier on, especially lap one, lap two, did you ever think about? We saw you having a think about making a move on Harry into turn one. You had a very good run on him. He was on the outside line. We thought you'd try and sneak it down the inside. Did you think about making a move on Harry? You were quite happy just sitting behind him and letting him kind of tow you around and holding on to the back of Stinson leading.
I mean, I'm not like that Bottas kind of driver, so when I have the chance, I will take it, but not, and as we spoke before the race, not at any cost. And if we are in a good position for a good result, I don't risk it like 100%. But there was definitely a chance, and maybe on another day I will take the chance. And even the laps after that, I had a lot of battery to do something, but yeah, not now in my second race back, but maybe in the future we can battle a bit more.
Well, it's good to keep him on his toes. We don't want him running away with this one. So yeah, congratulations, second place for you. On to Stinson, third position. Just double checking that you've got your voice on loud to be share, Stinson. But congratulations, third place. Maybe not what you were hoping for. Great start off the line, leading away. What was the decision with that longer pit stop compared to the two Renaults?
Decision, it was more kind of a mistake. It's been a long time since I did Japan in the IRL League race, and I figured at the beginning that the mediums wouldn't last that long. Well, when I saw my tire wear at the end, I could have just easily pitted lap 8 with Harry and made it. And also, because of some stupid mistakes, I got a time penalty, which is nearly impossible at Japan, but somehow I still managed to do it.
Thank you.
I thought, yeah, maybe if I go really long, my tires will be less worn, but it didn't work out.
Well, a podium's still a decent result for you this evening. You still pick up some more points after, of course, that retirement in Australia and the non-start in Russia. So you at least pick up some decent points in that championship fight. But you've got to think really that you've got to be starting to pick up some wins over Harry. So what have you got to do to beat him over the next few races?
I think the pace is there, but tonight after lap 2 I already knew I wasn't gonna win. We broke the DRS with P4, and I tried to make Harry push a little bit more so we would drop Hercules as well. But they were working together, so I already saw it was impossible to drop Hercules. And so I already figured that tonight probably a P2 was the maximum. And after the penalty, yeah, what's gonna happen?
Well, congratulations nevertheless. That's third position. That's another podium on the season. You're second on the season after the first race back in Mexico. So congratulations to the top three. Fantastic race this evening. It's still very interesting. It may have been a bit boring for you sitting there and having to watch each other drive around, but there was definitely a lot of action on circuit that I'm sure you'll enjoy watching back. But yeah, Sab, a cagey race for some, for others explosive. We saw that 5-car battle for fourth position. So yeah, it's a strange circuit. We don't often see overtaking, but we do see some close racing.
He was doing indeed, and I absolutely loved that battle for fourth. Big congratulations once again to Nathan. I thought he was absolutely superb. All that pressure he had for the majority of the race from Rudy, from Beastas, and then Scopefielder, and then his teammate as well. He did well to control the race from his position. He knew he wasn't going to catch the top three, so to come home fourth has been absolutely superb, and definitely it's Japan, isn't it? It's hard to overtake around here, but these guys this evening shown us that you can still have good racing around here, and those five specifically gave us a good spectacle this evening. So yeah, absolutely superb to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can do next week around the DRS zone of Monza.
Yeah, so off to the Temple of Speed, the Italian Grand Prix in the park from Monza. Cannot wait for that one.
Can I say something?
Go for it, Dan.
Thank you. We are like 14 drivers today, and even last week we had a few spaces, so it would be nice to have a full grid. And even though I don't really know what happened to Scott and Charlie, I think whatever happened, they did so much for the league, and I wish a lot that they can have a chance to come back racing, because space is there.
Absolutely. And we do, of course, if you'd like to be involved in F1, do get in touch with us. We do have a few spaces left. We do have a few drivers coming back next week. But, of course, we do have spaces not only across F1, but across all leagues. So do get in touch with us. Come and join in the Discord, into the community, and let us guide you through a Monday evening here on the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation. Plenty more races throughout the week. Of course, Tuesday evening, we've got the PlayStation F2 League and Xbox F1 League streaming tomorrow. The Xbox guys will be streaming, and also PlayStation will be streaming with Phil and Malc in the commentary box. Wednesday, 4 races. The PlayStation F3 and F4 League, the PC on F1 and on F2. And on Thursday night, it's Realistic Performance League night. We've got the PlayStation and the Xbox Realistic Performance League. So plenty more races here at Invictus throughout the rest of the week. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you click it down below. Like the video if you haven't already. Really does help us out. And, of course, come back and join us for the rest of the week. We've got plenty more races. But if not, come join us in 7 days' time for the Italian Grand Prix Round 5 of the PlayStation here on IRL F1 with myself, Gareth Hall, and Alan Sabatino. But for now and tonight, we do apologise for the late start. Hopefully we'll get everything sorted for next week, and we'll be back with you around about 7:55 in the evening, ready to go for the race session. But we hope you've enjoyed the race. We hope you enjoyed the session, and you have a very, very good evening. We'll see you in 7 days' time in Monza. Good night.